Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. And in this video I'll explain you what is a CPU in simple terms. And without wasting any time, let's get into the video. And we all know that CPU is the brain of a device, okay, whatever it may be, the mobile or laptop or PC or tablet, okay. And CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. What it actually does is it processes the data which we gives to the processor, and it does the processing and gives output. Okay, and let's get into what are the specifications of a CPU that we should check once when we are going to buy a device. Those are, first one is cores, threads, clock speed, nanometer that the processor was built, and the TDP, and the last one is cache. And these are the specifications that you should definitely know when you are going to buy a device. Okay, and let's get into what is a core. Cores are nothing but the physical parts. Let's take this is a processor, and it has 1 2 3 4 cores. Okay, it means this is a quad core processor. In markets there are available like a dual core, quad core, hexa core, octa core, and so on. Okay, and so if you give data or something, if you want to open a game which is not heavier one, it is a small one, okay, and that when you open the game that is stored in your hard disk or SSD comes to the processor, and if a single core is enough to process the data, and that processor then gives you output. Okay, and if you want to play GTA 5 like big huge games, then all the cores activates and works together to work and so that you can run the game smoothly. Okay, and even GPU matters, and I'll tell you what is a GPU in the next video. In this video we're going to talk only about CPU. So number of cores you have in a processor, that much powerful your processor is. Okay, that's it from the cores. That is nothing but physical parts which are divided. Okay, and next one is threads. Threads are nothing but these are virtual parts that doesn't exist in a physical way. Okay, each core has 2 threads, and I said you that when you give a task to your processor, and if that is so much easy to do the work, then this core activates, and just one thread is enough to do the processing and gives you output. This is one part of the core. Okay, and cores are actually exist in multiples of 2. There are here in the example there are 4 cores. 4 multiplies 2, we'll get 8 cores. 4 cores, 8 threads. And if you have a 6 core processor, then you will have 12 threads in the same way. Okay, threads are nothing but the virtual parts, cores are nothing but the physical parts. That's it in the simple way. And the clock speed, and let's coming to the clock speed. If you take a clock or a fan, okay, I'll take a fan. Okay, it has only one one propeller. Okay, and that rotates. Okay, that rotates in 1 second. It can rotate 60 times. Okay, in 1 second it can rotate 60 times. It means it has 60 hertz frequency. Okay, this is the frequency. The more the frequency, that is the clock speed. That's it. If you give a work to your processor, and how much frequently that it does the work in 1 second. Okay, actually the processor works in gigahertz, which means in billions of times it can does the processing. Okay, in gigahertz, so I think some billions of times. Okay, that much powerful processors are available now in modern days. Okay, I think I understand about clock speed. If you doesn't understand, then comment me. I'll make another video particularly on this clock speed. And nanometer is nothing but this is the it's a part of meter. Okay, if you take a meter, it is a little bit small microscopic part. And processor, if you take this is a processor, it has tiny transistors which continuously ons and off. Okay, ons and off, so that it processes the data. And here if we take 2 processors, let me draw, and in this the transistors are placed for distance, and here in this processor transistors are packed closely each other, and suppose the distance between these 2 transistors is 14 nanometer. That means nanometer. Okay, that means this processor is built on 14 nanometer technology, and if the distance between these 2 transistors is 7 nanometer nm, that means this processor is built on 7 nanometer technology. So that what is the difference specifically? What is the difference between these two is that it takes more power to transport the data from one transistor to another transistor. Okay, it consumes more electricity and it consumes less electricity. Okay, and this takes so much time. And this takes less time to transfer the data, and it generates more heat because it takes more energy, and this generates less heat because the distance is less. Okay, and these are the benefits of the processor which has a less nanometer. Okay, and in markets they are coming that 5 nanometer, and even IBM released that they will build a 2 nanometer processor. Okay, and the less the nanometer is, that much power efficient. It takes less power and does the work more efficiently. Okay, I hope you understand what is nanometer in this processors. Let me erase all these. Okay, and this is the nanometer. And TDP, TDP is nothing but the thermal design power. Your processor needs some power to does some work. Everyone needs some power. We'll eat food and that food generates some energy in our body and we'll work. We exist, we survive. Okay, and even processor need that power that you give to the processor and it works in market actually is 90 watt processors and 150 watt. The more watt your processor is, that much power it takes and does the work. Okay, and because in market less nanometer processors are available and they are more power efficient, and even in future we can expect less TDP processors with a good processing power CPUs we can expect in the future. Okay, and cache is nothing but, okay, if you want to open a browser, okay, in your device, and your CPU needs to process the data what you give the input. Okay, and the data that stored from your disk, from your hard disk, is needed to go into the CPU, and that processes and gives to your display. Okay, to your display. And instead of taking the data from this hard disk, it stores some data, little bit data, not in GBs, it is just MBs. Okay, megabytes. So some processors, I saw some processors with a 11 MB cache, and even 32 MB cache and more. Okay, and so on. And the more the cache of your processor is, the more storage that it can take. Okay, so that it can process the data so fast, and your browser can open fastly. Okay, in this way the storage data from your processor processes the CPU in faster time and gives you output. Okay, and if you need more thing to process, then it takes the data from your hard disk and then it gives you out by processing. Okay, and that's it from this video. I hope you understand. If you have any doubts, please just comment me down. I'll make another video. I'll give you the explanation. Okay, I hope you like this video. Okay, what to say, nothing. Okay, please do subscribe and like. Okay, Jai Hind, guys.